More and more third-party truly wireless earbuds are finally starting to get really good. And now there are some really good premium truly wireless earbuds to take into consideration if you're thinking about upgrading from AirPods, Galaxy Buds, and even the Jabra Elite 65Ts. So today we're going to be looking at the brand new Sony WF-1000XM3s and the Sennheiser Momentums. Now, I really like both of these earbuds because they're both great, but they're very different from one another. So for starters, both of these earbuds are considerably more expensive than all of the other earbuds I just mentioned and recommended. The Sony WF-1000XM3s retail for $230, and the Sennheiser Momentums retail for an eye-watering $300. But if you want to pick either of these earbuds up, they'll be linked down below, and if you want to learn more about either of these earbuds, please watch the full review because we're only going to be covering the main differences. So first off, both of these earbuds have considerably larger carrying cases than all of the other earbuds I mentioned earlier. They're not unreasonably big, but you will notice them more when they're in your pocket. But when it comes to directly comparing Sony's and Sennheiser's carrying cases, Sony's case takes up more surface area, but it is slightly slimmer, so I've noticed that it slides in and out of your pocket a little easier. But Sony's larger carrying case is able to hold 3 full charges, whereas Sennheiser's carrying case can only hold 2 full charges. So at least you're getting something tangible out of Sony's larger carrying case, in this case, an extra charge. And overall, the WF-1000XM3s do significantly outperform the Momentums when it comes to overall battery life performance. Sony's earbuds have an advertised combined battery life that can range between 24 and 32 hours depending on how you use them, which is way above average for truly wireless earbuds. Whereas the Momentums have a combined battery life of 12 hours, which is below average and lackluster in my opinion, just taking into consideration the size of their carrying case. But at least both of these carrying cases charge via a USB-C port, which is obviously a great thing if you're an Android user. But when it comes to fit, these earbuds are also very different from one another. They're both in-ear earbuds, but plainly said, I find the Sony's to be less comfortable than the Sennheisers. Sony's earbuds go in very deep into your ear canal, which personally I'm not a fan of. And I also gotta use the smallest silicone ear tips they come included with, because everything else is just way too big. And since Sony's earbuds go so deep into your ear canal, they do get itchy after a while. Whereas the Momentums don't go in as deep, and I can actually use their medium silicone ear tips. So overall, the Momentums are much more tolerable to wear for long periods of time, but since the Sonys go much deeper into your ear canal, they also do a much better job of creating a seal and passively blocking out more ambient noise. But when it comes to overall design, personally, I currently prefer the Momentums for the simple fact that they don't have a constant blinking LED like the Sonys do. So, like I said in the full review, I really hope Sony puts out a software update to disable these constant blinking LEDs, because honestly, they're utterly pointless. And regarding Bluetooth connectivity, these earbuds are also very different. Now, to keep it simple, I do think the Sonys have the better Bluetooth connectivity here, and here's why. Each of Sony's earbuds establish a connection with your phone like AirPods do, whether you're using an Android device or an iPhone. So what this means is that if you just want to use one earbud at a time, you can use either one and not worry about having to select the correct earbud. Whereas the Momentums use a hero and sidekick setup where one earbud, in this case the right earbud, establishes a connection with your phone and then relays that connection over to the left earbud, the sidekick. So if you just want to use one earbud at a time, you gotta use the right earbud. But more importantly, this does affect audio latency, specifically for iPhone users. Plainly said, the Momentums aren't the best for watching videos on an iPhone because they do have a slight latency across the board. But if you're an Android user, they're perfectly fine for watching videos on your phone thanks to aptX low latency. Now, even though the WF-1000XM3s only have AAC support, they have zero latency across the board on both Android devices and iPhone, except for when it comes to watching YouTube videos on an iPhone. But everything else is just perfectly fine. So you can use these to watch Netflix, HBO Now, or DC Universe, or whatever. So overall, both of these earbuds are perfectly fine for watching videos on any Android device. But if you're an iPhone user, you are better off with the Sonys if you plan on watching lots and lots of videos with your earbuds. Because right now, I can only recommend the Momentums for strictly listening to music if you're an iPhone user. And when it comes to listening to music with these earbuds, the Momentums sound way better than the Sonys, mainly because they have way better clarity, better instrument separation, a much wider soundstage, and the bass resonates deeper and cleaner. Now, don't get me wrong, both of these earbuds sound better than the cheaper earbuds I mentioned earlier, but the Momentums sound much crisper than the Sonys. And also, it doesn't hurt that the Sennheisers get a little louder than the Sonys as well. And even though both of these earbuds have an adjustable EQ, personally, I think the default EQ on the Momentums sounds best. But what I do like doing on the Sonys is having a neutral EQ setting for when I'm going to listen to music, and then having a bass-heavy EQ setting for whenever I'm going to watch movies on my phone. But in all honesty, I am blown away at just how good the Sennheisers truly sound. But when it comes to controlling your music playback, even though both of these earbuds have really easy to use and very accurate touchpads, personally, I also think Sennheiser has the better touch controls here, simply because you can touch and hold on the left and right earbuds to adjust the volume. Whereas with the Sonys, if you want to adjust the volume, you gotta whip out your phone, which has always been one of my pet peeves of most other truly wireless earbuds. But when it comes to overall features, Sony does manage to claw their way to the top, mainly because they have active noise cancellation. And the active noise cancellation on the WF-1000XM3s does a really good job of blocking out constant low-frequency sounds like road noise and the rumbling of an AC unit in your office. But the active noise cancellation on the WF-1000XM3s does change the way they sound. Specifically, it narrows their soundstage and instrument separation, and the bass won't resonate as deep. So if you want to get the best sound quality out of these earbuds, you should use them with their ANC turned off. And not to mention, it also helps you save on battery life so that you can get to the 32-hour battery life I mentioned earlier. But when it comes to everything else, like automatically playing and pausing your music or having an ambient mode, both of these earbuds have those. So the key features differentiating both of these earbuds is a vastly superior sound quality on the Momentums and active noise cancellation and a super long battery life on the Sonys. So when it comes to choosing between the Sennheiser Momentums and Sony WF-1000XM3s, unfortunately, it's not a simple answer. I think that for the overall best user experience, you should go with the Sonys, especially if you're an iPhone user, because you're going to be able to use them to watch Netflix on your phone because of the reduced latency on iPhone. But in general, for both Android and iPhone users, the Sonys have much better battery life, which is crucial for constant commuters. They also have active noise cancellation, which is also good for constant commuters. And not to mention, they also cost a little less. But like I mentioned earlier, I don't think these earbuds are going to fit everyone comfortably. But personally, if I had to choose just one, then I think I'm going with the Sennheiser Momentums. I can't tell you how many times I've picked these earbuds up and just started listening to music because I'm just blown away at how amazing they sound. And I also find them to be a little bit more comfortable to wear than the Sonys. Now, the Sennheisers aren't for everyone, and neither are the Sonys. But I think I'm Team Sennheiser for this one. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick any of the products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.